Beginning of our trip starting at the Fairmont Hotel in Seattle. The group is getting ready to load on the bus. What's that, honey?
Above the seats.
Oh, really?
On the top tours? Yeah. Oh, here.
There's always got to be one ham in the crowd.
Time to put the jacket on.
Here's the Space Needle, right?
Yeah.
Way up there.
1962 World Fair.
Elvis Presley.
20 years old.
Wow.
Holy moly. Now I'm 32.
Look at that building over there. That's really weird. There's our group coming. Right now we're on top of the Space Needle, right? Maybe the binoculars would have been good,
Yeah, I just thought that after the fact.
yeah. It does feel like I'm leaning
I know,
forward.
I know.
Oh.
I lost my balance momentarily. I thought, what's going on here?
Is that Puget Sound, I guess? Puget Sound?
Yeah, he showed me that yesterday too. He showed me everything. That's where I saw the sign.
That's that
On soon.
Art Center?
Yeah, we had a great night. It was a lot of fun.
They don't make anything square, do they?
What's that down there? Football?
Yeah, it looks like a football field.
Yeah, they're playing. See it?
Right now.
See the little ones? Some in the stands?
Oh, yeah. There's downtown Seattle. Can't see Mount Rainier yet, someplace.
Oh, I bet we'll see it. I bet we'll get something.
Pretty sure that's it.
Over here, dear. Why did I carry these things here with me?
I have no idea. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not. But
No, it's fun. We're going to have a clear day here. Where you can
look at the
see.
ship down there,
Mike,
though.
here's the Home of the Mariners right there. We saw that yesterday.
Where?
And down below it says Home of the Mariners.
Well, that's not the way they play.
Huh?
Mariners. That's
That's
a
the
baseball. That's not a
parking Well, we saw it.
Mariners is
Didn't we
further
see,
down.
Didn't we see the stadium now?
Yeah, but that's just the newscast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying the name, Mariners. You weren't sure and I was.
Huh?
Yesterday you couldn't think you said Seattle.
That's Puget Sound with the Olympic Mountains. The bus and driver. Puget.
I like all these little yellow flowers.
Huh? Oh yeah, it looks like
pretty.
dandelions, but they're not. Huh? $3 million homes. This is the city over there through the trees. Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
wow, yeah. Snow.
Both sides of the scene.
hide them from us. Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every clearing, and every humming insect is holy in the memory and experience of my people. The sap that courses through the trees carries the memories of the red man. The white man's dead forget the country of not just the water, but the blood of our ancestors. If we sell you the land, you must remember that it is sacred, and that each ghostly reflection in the clear water of the lake tells of events and memories and the life of my people. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. The air is precious to the red man, for all things share the same breath. The beast, year-round, again, we get tons of snow out here. We might get 70, 80, 100, 150, 200 feet plus of snow every year. Matter of fact, the road will be taking, they started construction on it in 1959. That was after the surveying, the idea had been laid out. The road took 13 years to finish. It completed in 1972, and the first person to cross that road is one of the worst serial killers we've had in the history of our country. Any guesses?
Hannibal
Not
Lecter.
Manson.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yeah.
Ted Bundy was a very well-educated man. He was actually an attorney by education, and he was the chauffeur of the governor at the time. So technically speaking, he was the first man to cross that road when they did the inaugural drive across it in 1972. We've had 3 nasty serial killers that I'm aware of up here. Actually, I live in
Rest stop on the way to the Sun Lodge, whatever it's called. Pretty. Washington State, far northwest. Pretty rugged country up here, as you can see. Beautiful day, probably about 65 degrees. There's our bus. Where's Marcy? She's in that group, just on the other side. She's looking for me. Just on the other side of the building. There she go. And all the people from our trip. There she is.
she's
writing down.
it?
She's
Okay.
writing down some stuff.
Hey, come here. That's these guys. So we bring
That's us.
That's you what?
Singing.
Oh, singing.
Our men, few good men.
Oh, really?
There's about 60 guys.
This is the
Really?
one we did this last
They're
year.
on the internet.
You
And I'm gonna,
from around this area, are you?
Yeah, from Wenatchee.
How about that?
The group started in, the Apollo Club started in 1910.
Oh, really?
And it's been continuous men's course
How about
ever
that?
since. And this is our
Oh,
99th
nice,
year.
nice tradition, man.
You know, there's a picture of our group there. Our CD we made on it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you got it.
all right. No, that's fine. Thanks very
You
much.
want to use that now?
Yeah.
And all the profits from the CD goes into our scholarship fund where we
Do you really?
give
Oh,
away scholarships for high school kids that
was the,
continue music in college.
that's pretty nice.
It was interesting this year that
Actually throughout the year, or a Chinook wind you may have heard of. That's where temperatures up high are much warmer than they are down here. So hypothetically, let's say it's 0 degrees here, it could be 70 degrees up high. It'll fool the trees into thinking it's spring. They'll start absorbing moisture through their needles, then you get a cold snap coming through, and it'll freeze those. Now also, I grabbed a sample here. I'm not going to pass it through because this is actually poisonous. Here, eat this. Now this bright yellowy green colored lichen, you've seen a lot of it in the trees. This is called Lupus vulgaris. Common name is called wolf lichen. And it gets the nickname wolf lichen because this was used especially by the Italians during and after World War II to eradicate wolf packs. They would use this, wrap it with animal fat, nails, glass shards, things like that, leave it out for the wolves, and if the poison didn't get them, the other stuff certainly did. Much to their dismay, there's 3 wolf packs that have moved back into the Dolomites in the last roughly 10 years, and they're doing quite
that's where
well.
we were.
A couple other lichens on here. You probably can't see it, but kind of a light gray one here. Any of you do crosswords? What does a leprechaun sit on? You see this now and again.
Yes.
A not a toadstool. A pixie cup. A pixie cup. That's a common name for it. It's also called cladonia. So if you were a rock smasher or a geologist and you're going out, let's say you work for Shell Oil and you're going to go take a walk in the back country and you're looking for oil. It used to be in the old days you carried a hammer and you went and bashed rocks. You broke up chunks and you'd analyze those samples. They still do that, but now what they can also do is use a helicopter or an airplane, fly over and take photographs of the rock. And they're not looking at the rock, they're looking at the lichen that's growing on the rock. And that will tell you what kind of mineral composition is there, which gives you an indication of whether you want to go in and look at it a little bit closer. There's a cute little story we used to, on the hiking trips. I know some of you have taken our hiking trips, and a lot of us that did those trips use this story, especially when there was kids, because they remember it. There's a story about Freddy the fungus and Alice the algae. And a lichen is a fungus and an algae.
This is in Leavenworth. Isn't it a pretty town? Bavarian style.
Free medal for taking her pottery?
Margie. Margie, wait up. Wait up, Margie. Chocolates in here. That might be a place to go. Beautiful willow trees. Guess they're willows.
Properties out here. In the wine country, this continues to grow and grow, and it's bringing a lot of visitors in. So we're getting a lot of people really out
Cascades.
buying property out there. With this
What's the name of this dam? What's the name of the dam again?
Rocky Reach Dam.
Rocky Reach. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. We'll go ahead and make our way over here to what I call the Fish Hotel. And let's see, the water's pretty calm. Let's see if we can see some.
You want to get with the guy?
Not really. Not this
Oh,
time. Jim the guy.
Okay.
Right here is
Maybe
what I
people.
very lovingly call the Fish Hotel. River. If they spill so many thousands of gallons, each dam below them does the same. They're kind of the general when it comes to the dams on the Columbia River and how much we spill. Of course, right across the way too, it's a long tube. Literally does run the full length. We're right below it right now. Runs all the way across our spillway. Spills over on the other side there. That's where our juvenile salmon head back into the river to continue their trek down to the ocean. Just stops.
Just the guy in the street fishing back there?
What?
Pretty country.
Yes, it is. Very remote.
The side of the Cascades and up into the North Cascades, and he started to build the lodge himself. He ran out of funding for it, I guess it was about 1980 or so, and the Haupt family purchased it afterwards, and they've done some updating and renovating. Deer on the left. Mama and a couple of babies.
Oh, look at him. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
It was the welcoming committee.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, those are mule deer. Single mule type ears. And whitetail are about the same size, a little bit smaller.
They got task force there.
Yeah. I knew that.
The functional end of the tennis court. It's the tennis court.
And welcome home. Well, give me just a minute. I'll run in and get the keys, and I'll be right back out with those.
Done that a lot of times.
Take a look out our window here. The old lodge. What a beautiful view, honey. Yep.